Namaskaram. Namaskaram. Thank you, Dr. Shelley. Nice to be part of the GFECER, Global Foundation for Early Childhood Education and Research. It's a beautiful topic beyond literacy. And an FB talk, I'm sure it can reach out to large number of people who are interested to look at this. A great topic. The topic today given is the mindfulness in early childhood education. When the topic was given itself, I said I don't agree with this topic.
Yes, I agree with you.
I agreed to talk on a topic which I don't agree. Is to take you from the subject which you said, literacy to education. The most literate people in the so-called subject meditation, which is supposed to be the great contribution from India, with some foolish people started talking about mindfulness. I have a reason to tell this. I am not talking from blank. I am talking from a great Himalayan tradition meditation master. I belong to Swami Rama's tradition of Himalayan masters, and I am a meditation master from Himalayas. Even though when I call a meditation master, I don't teach meditation to anybody. The reason is meditation cannot be taught. I was talking to somebody in the morning who was discussing that he is doing meditation for 10 minutes early. Now he has extended to 1 hour, and he has got some health issues and he is able to get solutions for his problems. These are all what is being told by many people. Meditation is like a medicine where you can prescribe to somebody and somebody can pick it up. I don't know how many of you have read about Ramana Maharshi, who describes emptiness in mind. I don't know how many people read the Shankara scriptures. We talk about emptiness in mind. The quietness means, the mind itself means thoughts. So full means the mind is full of thoughts. Whereas samadhi, yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. When you reach into samadhi, the mind has to be blank, nilness, emptiness. Empty is a beautiful word. Even when you write in English, EMPTY, you cut Y, still you will read it as empty. You cut E, still you will read it as empty. You cut P, still you will read it as empty. That's the beauty of emptiness, is you can discard every indriyas from you and go to dhyana. And in the dhyana, whatever you do becomes a very casual process for you. DrTPS is talking to you plain, mind empty. I'm only looking at what you have sent it to me as a flare. That's good enough for me to talk for hours together. Because
Wonderful, sir, and this is what we are expecting from you.
because it is not a learned subject I am talking. It is what I understood. It is what I analyzed. It is what I interpreted. It is what my morning I was talking to on a topic, and I was talking about Vivekananda's concept in education. His name itself is Viveka Ananda. Anandam is happiness, Vivekam is your Vivechana Viveka Buddhi, discriminative power. You can identify which is good and which is bad. So analysis is part of our life, and a beautiful topic which talks about now early childhood. As you take birth as baby, You get into an early childhood when you are 3 years old. And this topic has become a hot topic for last 2 years, basically because Professor COVID has given happy time for most of the people not physically attending, and much happier time for most people who are on webinar, because they could become a WhatsApp guru and Facebook teachers, webinar teachers. Anybody can talk about any topic today, because you can always look at some literature which is available, PowerPoint which is available, and then start discussing. I'm also keeping a small note here, writing Dr. Shelley as the name and the organization name. And when you were talking FB Talk Show, I wrote FB Talk Show. And when you said education and literacy, I wrote education and literacy. I make notes from what I hear. What people do is they copy notes and then speak. This has become...
No, that is a wonderful habit.
Yeah, this has become a literate...
When you are making notes.
Yeah, this has become a literate. I always, any webinar which I attend, I keep writing. These are all different notes which I do. On every topic which I speak, when somebody speaks, I keep notes. And I record it so that I can listen to me later, because these are all creative thoughts. And I post it onto my YouTube so that I will listen to that maximum number of times, This is making knowledge. So as a child, what is to be done? What we are doing is the photocopying business. The educators and education process has become only copying what somebody has given to you. Somebody told this is how to be educated, keep doing it. And we need a national policy. And in that national policy, unfortunately, the chairman happened to be my chairman of ISRO when I was the deputy in the program planning and project management in headquarters. And what we talk is, we have a very great education system. Like Kaudilya was not a great professor who took somebody from the street and then made him as the king of the kings. And we had great teachers like Shankara, whose lessons are even followed after centuries. Swami Vivekananda could trample the whole nation with a speech of 4 minutes in the United Nations religion community in Chicago, quite when he was young. We believe that we have to be creative, and that creativity it is part of our education system, because who is the goddess for education? It is Saraswati. And who is her husband? That is the god of creativity. But we have called him as god of creation. Actually, Brahma is not a god of creation. Brahma is god of creativity. And education and creativity has to go together. So how can you copy a knowledge and then teach somebody else? You are supposed to consume it. When the knowledge and the data with your analysis, when you make it yours, that becomes Viveka, Vivechana, Buddhi. With that education, you must educate somebody else. So I loved Dr. Shelley's word, literacy to education. The biggest problem today is, though called people themselves as educators, they are not even educated. They are only copying knowledge. They read what is somebody is written. They don't even understand the meaning. Right? So the conceptual definition of the so-called mindfulness, if you relook at it, understand and educate yourself, you will realize it is not fullness, it is emptiness. But the Rishi who told, or maybe some educated person who told, the fullness is actually the manas. Manas is, I don't know, manas is mind, because the translation into English creates a lot of problems. Manas is the emotional place in which you keep your mother's picture is in manas, but your mathematics is in the buddhi. That can be the logical difference. Because immediately, instantaneously, you don't look at your mother and say, oh, this is my mother. You don't have to even think. Without thinking, what you can produce is kept in the manas. So, now let us see what is kept in the manas. And that manas in Sanskrit is called Gum. I am from Gum department, space department. And that manas, when you fill it, when you make it complete with su as prefix, it is called sukham. The gum which you put du as prefix, it is called dukkam. So it has to be full. Full with what? Full with the passion. Full with the passion for learning. Are you asking the children what is that you want to learn? You are filling it without even allowing them to think. You are not allowing them to play. So I have a trust which is called Shiksha, and I have a concept of Grandma Child Care Gurukulam. That's DrTPS concept. You can look at Grandma DrTPS. On YouTube you can see a lot of presentations and a lot of discussions on this. Not now, 15 years back. A model school is created in Kerala, where I am from. And now I stay in Hyderabad. Hyderabad, this got inaugurated in 2020. Because of COVID, we could not take it up. I went to many schools to propagate this, saying that no, age 3 to grade 3. That is the early childhood education. Don't separate children from parents, not from grandparents. Don't put into different compartments and then tell them with a syllabus. It has to be informal learning. So how do you do informal learning? With a lot of crafts, lot of creative ideas, cutting and pasting, looking at separation. What will happen to them? They become creative. And that creativity is mindfulness. And that is the introspection each psychologist is supposed to do. And what happens today is, these are all come from Buddhist psychology. I don't know how many of you realized that the mindfulness when they use, where is the origin for this? Origin came from Buddhist psychology. And the Buddhism has spread in the Western country very fast. And from there it came back to India. But if you look at where Buddha learned this, that is from the Indian philosophy, the Eastern philosophy. Once I kept saying that no, Buddha would not have written any new philosophy if he would have written Bhagavad Gita in his childhood. Unfortunately, Bhagavad Gita was not as famous as today. The context in which it is written, if it is understood, then in 1920s and 30s, where the yogis from India went to America, they found that it is easier to translate Buddhist philosophy, and they also themselves converted or adapted to Buddhist philosophy into that, thinking that Buddha and India are one and the same. But that is only superficial. If you have to go deep into that. So what is required? Your muscle tension need to be reduced. Every teacher have got lot of muscle tension. You know, when they go to young children, the first word they see is keep quiet. Yeah, all KG teachers, one single word. I have gone to different schools. More than 1,000 young kids schools I have visited. I have taught many young teachers of kindergarten. And I keep telling them, you don't use the word keep quiet because you are shouting. And the children are seeing somebody is shouting, exactly. And the message is keep quiet. You have to be a role model. And what is the best method? You give me 300 children. Dr. Shelley, if you have got a 300 children, KG or age 3 to grade 3, give it to me. I will make them to keep quiet for 6 hours even without telling once the word keep quiet. They will keep quiet. If there is an action given and there are activities which makes them to be interesting, they will keep doing it. What is an young child does? You leave a small child who is crawling. What do? They pick up the pen. And then you say, oh, don't take it, keep it there. But you are not telling what to take. Immediately they will pick up the next item. You will say, no, keep it, don't take it. You keep saying don't. You never said what is to be done. So we all start with the messages of don't. I keep asking somebody, if I ask the name, he will say, what's your name? Dr. Pradeep. Huh? Yeah, because that's how I am called. I am called DrTPS, so my name is DrTPS. So if you call the child don't do, if you ask somebody what is the name, they think that the name itself is don't do. See, this is what happens, you know. So what is required in life is to give them the smoothness, to translate from that I want. That is how the children are grabbing things from the childhood. From there, they have to be in a society where they realize it is not I want, I also should share to somebody else. And that will come, and they are too focused. What to learn in our meditation, yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, forget about this. That is by default there, because you can see every child, their belly goes up and down. And they realize that they are breathing. Wonderful. Next one is pratyahara, dharana, dhyana. That is what is attention. Every child has great attention. Why I said I can keep them for 6 hours? You give them a small job of putting a small thread through a needle. That's good enough. You will see their attention. They will not divert into anything. They will be fully into that. And you have to create a dharma, a value system. That is what you want, no? The value education is value of mindfulness. Actually, the value of mindfulness is being a good attitude, a dharmic, with the intention which the teacher should have. I must have an objective and scope. What am I doing with education? My education should have reading and writing ability, comprehension ability, arithmetic ability, and memory. These are the 4 pillars of education. I don't know how many educators really understood this. So memory is part of it. As part of memory, what we have done, we started teaching them lot of slokas. You look at DrTPS, lot of slokas are put under Nitya Sloka. And it's also in Subhashitam, which has got great meanings. Whereas what we are teaching the young children today is London Bridge is falling down. Doesn't matter. But as they grow, is there any teacher who is teaching also thought about why London Bridge is not fallen down? It is falling down for last centuries.
Exactly.
I keep asking teachers, you tell me where is London Bridge? Most of the teachers couldn't answer. And if you answer it is in London, it is wrong. London Bridge is not in London. Look at DrTPS London Bridge. I have given a small description about it. So what happens is the teachers are not thinking. We have got thoughtless teachers. And that you want it to be mindfulness inside. So how does it come? Only method is you have to be creative. When you are creative, you are potentially with an intention, with an attention, with an attitude. IAA, that's what I keep calling. So you should have good intention, a self-regulation by yourself, self-exploration, and self-liberation, and personal journey into knowledge. Not that you teach, you learn first. Keep thinking, what am I doing? And then attention. Attention to every small thing which happens in the class. That is possible only when mind is full. No, mind is empty. Then I can fill their thoughts. I can talk to somebody. I become a mirror. You know what Shankara told about manas. If I can translate mind as manas. Mind is a very bad word, that's why. So some people can translate into heart. Heart is also much dangerous because biology people will not agree. So best method is to use manas and buddhi. Brain and the feeling comes from the manas. Shankara says manas is like a mirror. Manam darpana samanam. Manam darpana samanam. Manas is like a mirror. So I am seeing Dr. Shelley. I must only look at Dr. Shelley and think about the topic what you are talking today. I am not keeping a bad impression, back impression, long impression, convex, concave, nothing. I am a plain person looking at the mirror. If I have such a manas, automatically knowledge will come to me. Saraswati will come to my tongue. Creativity will come to my brain. Brahma is inside. Because Hridaya, that is also manas. Hridaya, Guhara Madhye.
Wonderful.
Inside the cave, Kevalam Brahma Matram. Only Brahma is there. So what is my attitude? Non-judgmental, accepting everybody open, reflecting the way you are reacting to me. And that is experiencing. So my experience of teaching will be, each student gives me a different experience of teaching. What a great knowledge it will become. Otherwise what happens? We are only giving a copying business. And that is not what is to be done. You love everybody. You keep propagating the knowledge which you have created with an objective, with a total dedication. Assume You are, I will ask you one question. Assume that I have got a big library with a lot of books on poetries, novels, stories written on love. I keep reading it, but I never felt love inside me. What is the point in reading the whole books?
Because
Love.
we have not practically experienced love
Yeah.
in real life.
If I don't experience love, I will not be able to
Yeah.
write any single sentence. So most important is that experiencing. Otherwise, it becomes what is that is happening? I am deceiving myself. I am becoming lower person by myself. And that is why our education system has gone into bad. I will not agree that new education policy has given something new. I have not heard anybody telling other than me. I will tell you what Shankara said, what Swami Vivekananda said, before that what Kaudilya said, what first education minister of India, the first president of India, the great philosopher S. Radhakrishnan wanted that to happen by the Maulana Asad's principles of education in the higher education in India. All that created a university in India with a great concept. What has happened is that what is called a small children education system is called Vidyalaya. So what is to be done? Vidya has to be given there. Next one is called Kalalaya. That means you should become an artist. And then you should become Sarvakalashala. Sarvakalashala is university. Every knowledge should come there. But what we have done, medical university separate, technical university separate, we have segregated. What is the new education policy saying? Group them together again. Is there a change? No. There is no change. What has happened? We have gone into a wrong way. The policies comes, but it is never implemented. In India, the biggest problem is every 9 schools out of 10 is a private school today. Government has no accounting. Next, apart from government schools and educational institutions which are owned by private in a systematic way, 70% people go for tuitions. That is unorganized, non-qualified, never tested, and the money which is going to such places is a huge amount which is supposed to be part of the government system to make this education much better. So the new education policy has come. Tell me, what is that is done to educate the teachers? You are talking about early childhood education. Who has to implement it in the classroom? Teachers. Did we make these teachers ready for such an education? Parting this education in the classrooms today? We have not done it. So therefore what will happen? It becomes again a failure. So I want every teacher, don't wait for any training. Don't put your mindfulness. Don't attend any webinar, get a certificate for the courses. Don't become a copycat. What is to be done is wash your face, think yourself, wake up from the sleeping teacher mode, the reproductive teacher mode, to a creative teacher mode. And then you will see that, oh, I am so happy. And that happiness, that blissfulness will give you an empty mind with the full of happiness. And that empty mind with the full of happiness is what is required. Not full literacy with zero knowledge, zero education. I am using the word what Dr. Shelley started giving. We are literate but not educated. So we have got samatha, vipassana methods of meditation, the sublime status in which what is to be done, which are all propagated by great rishis and munis. That is what is to be looked at. I can go on and on, but I am sure that's not my job, right? You told me 22.
No. But see, when you talked about all this, everything, I resonate with all your points.
Yeah.
But the only thing is, nowadays, what the education, what they have taught us is that everybody is after the number game. At times, children say that a piece of paper cannot decide my future. So when we talk about today's education system, why this rote learning is there? Why, when we talk about examination, even at the junior level also, why the children are tested only on the basis of the numbers, only on the basis of the examination, as for educators you said, copy paste, and then read out or skip something which is written by others. simply for the small children also, examination is what? They cram up. And they just vomit out the answers what they have crammed. Instead, we don't know whether they have understood or not, whether the concept is clear or not. But the only thing is, yes, they have just learned, crammed, and written. So how innovative or creative we can go that rote learning should be abolished and teach the children in such a novel way, away from the textbooks, away from all this, traditional mode of teaching, so that the child actually understands the content. Let's go for the experiential learning. So I just wanted to know different creative ways, especially for the pre-primary educators, that what are creative things they should go for the children so that the child actually understands the concept instead of rote learning,
See,
instead of cramming.
we cannot leave away with the mark system. And traditionally, when I was a young child, I remember when I used to go back to my village. I am now in Hyderabad. I go to the small village where I am hailing from in Kerala. Somebody comes to meet me and then they say, "Oh, I am your classmate." When my brother, who is 6 years elder than me, comes also, the same fellow says, "I am your classmate also." So that means from we never had LKG, UKG, nursery business. We all started with grade 1. So between grade 1 to grade 10, in 10 years, 6 years he failed. Now tell me, how many students fail today? Everybody is pass. You know why? Why
What
in
you are talking about fail. When we talk about the result, it is 99.9%.
no? I'm
And the DU's cutoff is also the same.
now I am saying that is because everybody is to be given lot of marks, make them to pass 10th class. If they fail and then discontinue studies, assume that 60% of the people or 80% of the people today who pass 10th class is not qualified to pass 10th class. I can vouch for that. I'll tell you, when I am called for giving a certificate of A plus in all subjects in one of the greatest schools where 420 children wrote exam, all of them are in A plus in all subjects. Such a great school celebrating its all victories. When I am giving certificate, I asked one of the student, what is the spelling of circle? They said SIRKLE.
Wonderful. And then everyone is A plus.
If you write SIRKLE for circle also, people are given 100% for that. That is because who are the teachers today? I came to tell you that because those teachers are those who are all passed without failure, and they become B.Ed, they become BA, they become B.Ed, they become masters without even knowing, because everybody is given full marks. The reason is, assume that the 25% of the youth in India today, out of which 20% is on the street failure. After 10th they failed, after 12th they failed, graduation they failed. You mean what will happen in the society today? The society will be with full of chaos. So I keep saying academic institutions are like a jail, a soft jail. Put them into different compartments of jails. Give them some grade. Very rarely we see meritorious students. I must have seen millions of teachers. I was part of teaching university teachers in the academic staff college director. I have seen millions of students. I must have taught only maybe thousands and thousands of principals of these schools. I'll tell you, I keep telling, the teachers keep teaching because they are given the task of the syllabus. And you can see CBSE school, LKG admissions open. I keep asking them, what is the expansion for CBSE? Central Board for Secondary Education. What is secondary education? 9th class onwards. Then how can you have an LKG class with the CBSE syllabus, you tell me? So the society themselves agreed that we can cheat anybody in education like this. So education has become a good market for cheating. And then the number doesn't matter, because every admission today in the higher education is based on entrance examinations. You know, The highest, toughest exam in India is civil service. The highest, toughest exam is civil service. I wrote a book on civil service prelims handbook. The first exam is called the prelims. 20 lakhs people apply. 20 lakhs people apply annually. Only 15 lakhs write exam because 5 lakhs have got the fear of exams. If they write once and lose the chance, one chance is lost. And out of 15 lakhs, only 20,000 pass the exam. And you want to know the syllabus? Syllabus is 10th class. When are they writing? After masters. So what has happened? After 10th, they do 3 years degree or 4 years BTech or 5 years medicine. Then prepare 2 years. 2 years plus 1 plus 2. All that together 7 years after that they forgot what they learned in the 10th class. And what is that subject? Maths, physics, chemistry, biology, English. And in these subjects they fail again. Why is it happening? Because we learn something for examination and forget immediately. We are not understanding. It is not education what is given. It is preparation for examination. And out of that, only 1,000 students are selected for giving civil service. We have more than 6,000, 7,000 vacancies in IAS alone. 6,000 vacancies are there. We appoint only 60 to 70 people. Why we cannot fill it? Because India themselves are not finding qualified people to be appointed. I have interviewed 2,000 MTech graduates, including those from IITs. I could not find one qualified person to appoint as teachers. This is what is happening. So, everywhere we have kept a parallel entrance examination, parallel competitive exam. You tell me the rank fellow from BTech will not be appointed in any of the private MNC companies without conducting exam, group discussion. All that is worst. And why 90% is getting? Because people copy question paper and then give the same thing. No teachers are creatively creating questions. So the problem is the teachers lack creativity. If we wanted to have a good education system, we have to be very thoroughly well paid teachers. The teachers have to be paid the highest. And every year teacher must write examination. Every year teacher must write examination to qualify to continue as teachers. If somebody thinks I have got a BEd degree and I have got a master's in English, I can become an English teacher throughout life, it is wrong. They must be educated every time. They must get into writing examination. When I was an MBA professor in a college.
I support this. Why? Because we often tell everyone to often have the teachers enrichment program each year, monthly, and the teacher should attend, as number of workshops, seminars as possible to embrace their knowledge, to update the latest curriculum, to learn something innovative, to learn something creative, and need not follow the age-old policies or learning which they did years ago, and each year churning out the same method, same teaching method again and again, again and again. See, the times are changing.
Yeah, Dr. Shelley, what happens is today when the teachers attend, immediately they will ask for certificate only. Because they believe certificate is more important than knowledge. And I don't think anybody is asking to give a report of what you have learned. No, even listening, I keep telling my students, if you attend a workshop, write an article on that. Write a note. Taking notes and making notes. Two things have to be followed. You take a note and make a note. If you are not able to write briefly about what you have learned, you are not learning. Comprehension is part of everyday learning. If you look at DrTPS newspaper reading, I teach children how to read a newspaper. I tell them how to make a small brief about what you are reading. If you are not able to do that, you are not fit for a job. In government, why civil service require comprehension? Because they will get this huge file. I am sure no minister is going to read the file. So what is the IAS job? He is supposed to make a note and then send it to somebody. The whole file is put into 2-line notes. Do you have that ability today? See, there is nothing great to be learned. Ramayana is written, but there is an Eka Sloka Ramayana. In one sloka you can finish Ramayana. Bhagavatam is written, Mahabharata is written, huge books, but one sloka also you can finish. This ability was part of our Indian mythology, Indian teaching, Indian learning systems. So we make people to by heart. Learn. I keep saying don't learn by heart, but learn by heart. Understand the thing and then learn. Ask questions yourself. You have to communicate to you. If that is done, I am sure getting marks by good students, I keep saying you understand, you will get 100%. If you don't understand also, you will get 100%. But what will happen after some time, you will forget.
Yeah, no doubt, Dr. TPS, I could believe that your session was an eye-opener for all the audience who are listening us right now on Facebook Live, because I'm getting beautiful compliments. Okay, I'm reading out the beautiful compliments, and I think this is an honor, and it is an overwhelming session because we need to learn beautiful insights, perspectives, and examples shared by you. And please give me an opportunity and honor to invite you again in this forum with a fresh topic sometime whenever you have the time, whenever you can give time to our forum, because it's such a nice opportunity to listen to your pearls of wisdom, which is actually very different because you're speaking from your heart. It's not copy paste at all, seriously. Okay, you are speaking from your heart, and it's instead of asking questions, I feel like listening to you at depth, and I can listen to you. I mean, at long, but looking at the time constraint of the session, I need to end the session over here. But never mind, it was an inspiring session, no doubt, and your words were magical. And please allow me for an opportunity to invite you again in one of our different episodes with a different topic.
I'm always at your service. I'm always at your service. My life itself is the rest of the time after my retirement is for education, teaching. I am going like this every day. So prayers, pranams, namaskaram to all the viewers. Very, very, very nice, thankful, heartfelt thanks and pranams to Dr. Shelly for this opportunity.
Namaskaram and Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you. God bless you.